Shabbat Shalom. We begin our worship on page 128 with Ma Yafeh Hayom. How lovely today is Shabbat Shalom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We continue now with Romemu in the middle of page 135. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Please join me now in Lecha Dodi as we welcome the Sabbath bride on pages 138 and 139. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi
And we now continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue on page 125. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide.
Continue now on page 144. Yitkadal veyitkadash shmei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei.
B'chayechon ufyomechon ufchayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala uvizman kariv.
Veimeru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba mevorach, le'olam ul'olmei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach ve'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam ve'yitnaseh, ve'yitadar ve'yitale ve'yitalal, Shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'imeru, Amen.
We continue with Baruch Hu, our call to worship on page 146. Please rise if you are able. Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitfuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, v'mishmerotehem barakir kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid imloch aleinu leolam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 150.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam, le'olam va'ed. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Ki hem chayenu be'orech yameinu, uvahem neged yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, le'olamim. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta.
So invite us to take a deep breath in and exhale out. Take another deep breath in as we breathe in that sense of Shabbat. And exhale out, Mishagas. Another deep breath in as we breathe in that sense of Shalom, of wholeness and completeness. And exhale out all that negative energy within us.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך, בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Together on page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God.
We continue on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. We continue on page 158 with Mi Chamocha. We continue on page 162 with Vishamru.
השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We continue now with the central portion of our worship with our tefillah. Please rise if you are able.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Page 173. We join together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Page 175 on the bottom of the page. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha bi'irah na'avod. Page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lacher na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav. Ki ata u'melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata u'melech Adon, melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך, בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav.
I invite us now to take a deep breath in and exhale out as we now reflect on that makor shalom, that source of peace that lies within each one of us, as we pause now in silent reflection.
Nikion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri vekoali
We now focus our energies toward those who are ill and in need of healing. On this Shabbat, we think of Sally Ann Melendez, Chana Bat Miriam, Eliana Bat Chana, Robert Berg, Barbara Berlant, Mort Berlant, Dr. Arnold Berliner, Sarah Beinstock, Sandy Beinstock, Rich Burns, Esther Burton, Dr. Ed Kahn, Bob Kant, Chana Rivka Bat Rachel, Nicole Chapman, Hadley Crane, Elise Epstein, Peter Fadum, Jason Fishoff, Carolyn Franklin, Barbara Fiedman, Holly Fugit, Betty Garcia, Mary Gold, Jennifer Guerrera, Phil Hammer, Courtney Hansen, Dr. Gary Height, Lee Henderson, Barbara Jackowitz, Linda Johnson, Selma Karcham, Evan Krieger, Evelyn Katz-McCosker, Petrus Lacey, Leatzvia Batliba Elchanan, Janice Lucero, Young Sung Lot, Father Bill Leninger, Shirley Lerner, Gary Levine, Penny Levine, Liti Elios, Bobby Lotman, Austin Lucero, Carrie Medina, Eva Misley, Peggy Monroe, Brad Parkins, Esther Richmond, Linda Rogers, Marilyn Rudy, Dolores Sams Hoy, Harriet Saltzman, Laura Sanders, Teresa Sandoval, Donna Shine, Rabbi Marvin Schwab, Sybil Summer, Donna Thyman, Pham Tai Trang, Gunter Vogler, Roy Vogler, Teresa Walsh, Claire Cecil Watson, Rosanna Wershing, Jeannie Watson, Nancy Weisenfeld, Karen Williams, Sue Witten, Sherman Wong, and everyone who is suffering from coronavirus. We continue now with the word of Torah. The book of Genesis ends with this week's Torah portion, Vayechi. Jacob is on his deathbed after being in Egypt for 17 years. He was 147 years old. He calls his son Joseph over to him and asks him to make sure he is buried among his fathers in Canaan and not left in Egypt. I think one of the most important aspects of this portion, though, is when Jacob blesses his sons as well as his grandsons, that is Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. That is where the tradition of blessing our children on Shabbat came from, always using Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Ultimately, though, this portion ends on a beautiful note. After Jacob's death, Joseph speaks from his heart. And we know from earlier in Genesis that there was lots of deception and hurt amongst Joseph's family. So much so that it felt as if it was on a perpetual cycle of pain. But in order to bring it to an end, one member of the family who is entitled to retribution must stop the cycle and forgive instead. That is what Joseph does in this portion. As biblical commentator Richard Elliott Friedman writes in his commentary, quote, "This beautiful end of the story of deceptions and retributions completes an intricately embroidered narrative. Many interpreters have treated the Joseph cycle as if it were a separate entity, referring to it as a novella. Insofar as that term connotes an independent work, it is misleading, cutting off what is an integral part of this connected narrative. Symbols, ironies, and relationships of characters and events are lost when one performs this surgery and separates the Joseph cycle from the rest of the story," unquote. Just as we end Genesis and begin a new year, we are afforded this very powerful message, this very powerful lesson. May we on this first day of the new year consider and reflect on our relationships. May we be empowered to strengthen our relationships just like Joseph teaches us in this week's portion. But may we be, by his example, may we move forward in our relationships with a heart leading us. May 2021 be a year of stronger relationships in each of our lives. And aren't we motivated by the fact that we've not seen those people that often, if at all, this past year? Maybe this is the silver lining with all of this mishigas happening in our lives. That silver lining is the fact that we know how much we have lost this year in terms of time with people we love. If the times we are living in is not a good motivator to build stronger relationships, I don't know what is. May this year be a year of improved, healthy, and loving relationships for all of us. Happy New Year.
We've only just begun to live. White lace and promises, a kiss for luck, and we're on our way. For the rising sun we fly. So many roads to choose. We'll start out walking and learn to run. Sharing horizons that are new to us. Watching the signs along the way. Talking it over, just the two of us. Working together day to day. And when the evening comes, we smile. So much of life ahead. We'll find a place where there's room to grow. Yes, we've just begun. Sharing horizons that are new the signs along the way. Talking it over, just the two of us, working together day to day. Together. And when the evening comes, we smile. So much of life ahead. We'll find a place where there's room to grow. And yes, we've just begun.
We continue with Elena on page 586. Please rise if you're able.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula le'otzer breshit, shehu notei shamayim ve'oser haaretz, u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo begofei meromim, u'Eloheinu ein od, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
We now come to the moment in our service when we think about members of our family and community who've died recently or in years past. On this Shabbat, we think of those that are grieving the Shana, the first year mourning, for Gary Acknan, Marion Bergoffen, Tony Berliner, Raymond Berman, Stephen Ronnie Bush, Idel Kagan, Dory Cohen, Rabbi Sissy Corin, Rebecca Lynn Decker, Benny Schumann Donald, Vladimir Doktorovich, Bert Epstein, Glenn Farber, Beverly Furman, Marv Fox, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Helen Marchuk Goldman, Bernice Green, Susan Hammer, Bob Hirsch, Seema Jaffe, Jerry Kane, Rita Kane, Michal Lubin, David Dudi Messinger, Irene Neal, Richard Pascoe, Nancy Pfister, Cami Resnick, Curtis Lee Robinson, Edith Robinson, Rabbi Kenneth Roseman, Laura Marie Rosen, Barbara Rudnicki, Lorraine Samuel, Ruth Silen, Marilyn Silver, Francis Singer, B. Chandler Shaw, Greg Stiller, Joel Strauss, Carol Wachtenheim. We also think of the following yahrzeits that we observe on this Shabbat as we think of Alan L. Abrams, Aaron Berman, Vivian David, Eugenia De La Roca, George Everett, John Fernandez, Celie Goldstein, Herman Goldstein, Samuel Handloff, Arthur Horseman, Jeannie E. Jones, Victor Kayak, Eileen Cover, Carl Lazarus, Harry Levine, Edward Lutsky, Anna Ray Marks, Tony Marsh, Morris Nisman, Lowell Noble, Betty Ostrin, Janice Perlich, Anne Pomerantz, Robert Popolo, Lorraine Saltzman, Morris Schumann, Bruce Summer, Catherine Soto, Max Unell, Sadie Weinberg, Ruth Yaffe, Tom Young. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה וזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ותרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה ברכו. לעולם מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה וחיים עלינו וכל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו וכל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Hava, hava nashira, shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah. Hava, hava nashira, shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah. Hava, hava nashira, shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom. I am Steve Crandell, President of Temple Emanu-El's Board of Trustees. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to our streaming Erev Shabbat service and to 2021. We will start our 2021 programming on January 5th with the Rabbi's weekly Tuesday chat at noon. On Thursday, January 7th at 7 p.m., Sisterhood is hosting an RBG movie night during which they'll discuss the film On the Basis of Sex. Watch the movie beforehand. Next Friday, January 8th, our Erev Shabbat service will be streamed at 7 p.m. Register online for these exciting January events on Zoom. On Sunday, January 10th at 5 p.m., Temple Emanu-El's first Sefer Club discussion meeting will be on the novel Ariel Sampson, Freelance Rabbi by Ma Nishtana. Tuesday, January 11th, reminisce during Way Back When Happy Hour at 7 p.m. On Saturday, January 16th at 7 p.m., don't miss Cantor Amanda's Freedom Concert production. On Mondays at 7 p.m., starting January 25th, Phil Henkin will begin a new session of Adult Beginning Hebrew. And finally, on Sunday, January 31st at 1:30 p.m., don't miss the APJCC's annual Jubilee, which will be an extraordinary Tikkun Olam experience. Rabbi Magat and other Temple Emanu-El members will be involved. If you'd like a one-on-one Zoom appointment with our clergy, please don't hesitate to call or email the office. Wishing you all a healthy, happy, and safe New Year. Shabbat Shalom.